example is this, like if I'm out with somebody sharing a meal, having, again, it could be any circumstance, could be a carnival and it's a funnel cake, or it could be a but something that's like, oh, hey, I've tried this. I'd really like, hey, here, have a taste of this. It's really good, or whatever. It's really
Yeah.
unusual. Here, have a taste. No, I'm good. Like for some reason, like that no used to, and still, I mean, honestly, I don't know what again, it says something about me, right? Like, but I've worked on it, but for years that would put me, that would aggravate me. Like, what do you mean you don't want to take, like, and then one day I just deconstructed it a little bit and sat with it, and it's like, well, wait a second. Why am I upset? Like, really, what am I upset about that you don't want to try my corn dog? I don't know. Let's make it, there could be a billion reasons why you don't want it. You're not hungry. You just had a mint. You're chewing gum. You don't eat pork. You don't like hot dogs. You don't like fried thing. Like, you're just not in the mood. Just no, you just don't want it. Like, that's a good, like, why do I have to justify why you don't want it? Right. So all of these things I'm just sitting with and noticing, like, what part of me gets so upset about the fact that, well, and I realize or what I came to is well, it's like, I think my opinion is so important. Like, I think it's good. I think this is something you should have, and you don't want to do it, so you're going against me. Somehow I'm feeling less than there is what I had noticed in this, understanding what, and the minute I was able to see that and like, wait a second, but I like what I like. It's an offering. Like, hey, I think this is cool. I think you might like it. If not, cool. Why am I? But somehow I was putting on my value, like my self-worth, that, oh, I liked this. I'm recommending it. You're saying no, you don't want to see it. So therefore you think pick your poison. I'm not good enough. I'm a clown. And none of those are true. None of those are true. It's just, hey, I wasn't in the mood for it. Didn't want to friggin', if I wanted it, I'd take it. I'd say, yes, that's great. I offered that. That's what comes up for that kind of a no, right? Like, it's a weird no, because it's not a rejecting me. Like, you don't want to try the corn dog. But yet it's easy to take personally, that simple of a no.
And I do think that your, like, deconstructing of that is really so powerful, because clearly it feels, your analysis there points out how no to the corn dog feels like a no to you personally. But if you dig in, what actually feels like it's being rejected? Me. I feel like I'm being rejected in that moment for any plethora of reasons. But when you really put your finger on that analysis as to why, you can then say, well, and this person isn't rejecting me. Like, I can appreciate and understand that I have that gut response. And that's okay. Like, that feeling is okay to have. But I'm also an adult who is responsible for my own feelings and emotions and reactions. And I get to choose to say, this means nothing about me, my worth, my value as a human being. It means everything about this person's opinion on corn dogs. Like, this actually isn't a rejection of me, and I get to choose that knowledge in that moment. And that's really empowering to say, like, this was just a feeling that arose, and it informs me, it gives me information, but I get to choose the path that I want to walk down.
Exactly. And then so you can even sit with that. I love, you said everything so perfectly. Like, you notice the feeling. And now, what do you do with that feeling? Some people would try to throw it out and reject it entirely. And that's a strategy. I don't think it's maybe the optimal one, but what I like to do is just notice it, sit with it, and depending on the mood, sometimes I might examine it further and say, okay, well, where is this coming from? And oftentimes it's probably something from my childhood, that is very subtle, but in some way I suggested something, hey, let's do this, to my mother, and she was like, no, that's a dumb idea. And, who knows? It could, and the funny thing is it probably is something silly like that. Not everything that we do is caused by massive kidnapped in the van, 80s, very special episode kind of trauma. It can be something as silly as a parent not having time in that moment and saying something very quickly without thinking about it, and then never repairing. Never going back and saying, wow, I'm sorry, that was really jerky. You really wanted to share something with me, and I I'm sorry, I was not in a good place. I want you to keep sharing with me. Because that's what happens next, right? Well, okay, you don't I'm gonna take my ball and go home. Because I felt that feeling too. Like, well, fuck you. I'm not gonna share anymore then. You know,
Yeah.
but again, who's losing there?
Yeah.
You? I mean, maybe because I'm awesome, but still, I'm
Right.
losing because the part of the joy is in sharing that with somebody. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy golf. But I enjoy golf with other people. Like it's the experience of it less than the actual physical act of hitting a ball into a cup, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same, all of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I one more thing before we move on to the next one too that's coming up for me is the research that's come out of the Gottman Institute about relationships. And the Gottmans are responsible for the four horses of the apocalypse that happens within relationships, the signs of divorce. But one of their really big theories that I think is really powerful is about bids for connection, is what they call them. Um, and the Gottmans are a married couple. So when we say the Gottman Institute, it is a married couple that has conducted this research. And what a bid for connection is could be anything that's connective between you and a partner. And I think absolutely we can see here how saying like, hey, would you like to try this corn dog is a bid for connection. And perhaps a way to say no without rejecting that bid for connection, because in this research, they talk about how that is one of the deteriorating elements in relationships, as if bids for connection are just constantly shut down. It's like, no, you should be excited to be in community and shared experience with your partner. And if you're sitting with a cup of coffee outside in the morning and the husband says, oh, look, there's a really beautiful bird over there. And the wife just kind of rolls her eyes and takes another sip of her coffee. That's a failed bid for connection, right? And those really deteriorate over time. Whereas something as simple as looking up and going, oh, how pretty, and then moving on is a successful bid for connection. And I believe the statistic, I'll link it in the description down below so people can read into all the details for themselves, is 9 out of 10 bids for connection should be met. I don't think this means you have to try the corn dog, though. You don't have to violate your own desires just to connect with someone. A successful bid for connection in that instance could be, I'm really not in the mood for a corn dog, but why do you like it? Like, and that's still following up on the desire that is, I want to connect with you in this moment. I want to share something about this experience. And it is, well, maybe I don't want this specific thing that you want me to want, but I can still hold space for connection together. The other thing I'll underline is that is within relationship and within wanting to create safety in a relationship that both consenting adult parties are choosing, not with someone you don't want a relationship with. So this is not to say a random creep comes up to you at a bar and you feel like you need to say no and you have to say, but why did you want to do? No. This is a emotional safekeeping, safety within relationship with someone you are choosing to be in relationship with. But
yeah, I think that is so key to put because I was almost going to ask, and is in terms of like, hey, we are talking about in a relationship or with somebody that is meaningful to you, somebody you care about. I mean, listen, it's good practice, just in general, be a nice person, but I was going to say, where do you draw the line? Like, so for me, it's like, hey, if somebody's like, nah, I'm good. Like, to me, that is a very dismissive way. If hey, would you like to try the corn dog? Nah, I'm good. That feels very dismissive versus what you said, which was, hey, no, I'm not in the mood. No, I don't really like corn dogs, but I love that you love them. Like, even if you don't want to go and, hey, what was your experience? Just, I love that you love them. It makes me so happy to see you happy. I just want to enjoy you enjoying it, and that's a very different way than, no, I'm good. And you can see how one, you're not folding what you want. You're not changing your boundary is I don't want the fucking corn dog, right? In that instance, right? Now, what would moving your boundaries be? Eating the corn dog just to make that other person happy. Fine, because they're going to get all pissy if I don't eat the corn dog, and then they're going to be sad and And so I'm just going to eat the corn dog because it's easier. If that's what you're doing, I get it, because it's easier to keep the peace. I've been there. I've lived that. I think we all have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a sign that you should examine things in your relationship.
Right.
Would be my, definitely notice these things going on and ask why they are going on. Like, why does, and it could be just some people are very and being neurodivergent, a lot of times we might answer things. I know I do. I may say something very harshly at first. Not intentionally, just because it's like my brain is elsewhere. I get a text, hey, do you want to do this? No, I'm good. Boom. Okay, I'm on to the.
Yeah.
And then later on, I'm like, wait a second, I'm so sorry. Now, then there's the question of, well, am I just pandering? Because one of the things they say is don't apologize so much, right? Why are we always apologizing? Especially for women, right? Women apologize all the time. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
And you in the opposite side, you look at all the men's videos, like, don't apologize. You apologize too much. If you apologize, you're weak. If like, which is it? Damn it, do I apologize? Do I not apologize? Well, the answer here is you should never apologize for being you.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to apologize for wanting to not have the corn dog. And you can also thank the person for caring enough to want to share it with you. I really appreciate the fact that you wanted to share this with me. And
Well,
I
and
love,
think even saying thank you would be a way to meet that bid for connection, right? Like, no, no thanks, but thank you. I appreciate you thinking about me. Like that at least is acknowledging this, like, you're thinking about me. You want to share this with me, but I'm not in the mood for it. But thank you. I see you. I see you. That's what it is
exactly.
I see
You matter. You mean something. You have
Yes.
value.